Welcome to the first ever panel discussion organized by Acmee 2025. Myself, Joseph, I will be the moderator for today's session. IMA, Ambattur Industrial Estate Manufacturers Association, the organizers of Acmee 2025, has come up with the idea of having a digital platform to have knowledge sharing and information sharing among the industry fraternity. This is our first ever panel discussion. It's a special moment for Acmee to have our distinguished panelists today with us to discuss important topics like current budget, the manufacturing sector, and the role of Acmee 2025 in driving the growth and innovation. Let me introduce the distinguished panelists today to you guys. Mr. K.S. Jeyaraman, Managing Director of Autotech Industries India Private Limited. Mr. Balachandaran, CEO of Delta Control Systems. Mr. D. Ravi, Managing Director, CMD Precision Products Private Limited. And Mr. Thomas K. Varghese, Director of Fabrimech Industries. The manufacturing sector in India is rapidly evolving in terms of automation, sustainability, and technology. Thanks to the innovations like or initiatives like Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Still, there are a lot of challenges in adopting to the new technologies and more sustainable growth and as well competing with the global standards. Events like Acmee 2025 help bringing people together, sharing the ideas and solving the problems. Today, we will discuss about the current budget, how this is helping the manufacturing sector, how the new technology and sustainability are changing the manufacturing industry, and how Acmee 2025 can create the opportunity for collaboration and growth. To start the discussion, I would like to start with Mr. Balchandar, being an economist and being a chartered accountant turned entrepreneur. So, how this current budget is helping or will help the manufacturing industry in the coming days? How it will impact on the growth in the coming days? So, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to you all. On the macro level, if you look at the budget, the finance minister has been able to bring down the fiscal deficit from 5.8, she wants to bring it to 5.1 in 25-26 and then to 4.5 in 26-27. So if the fiscal deficit is getting reduced, automatically the interest rates, inflation, everything come down. So with that, the RBI has also reduced the lending rate by 0.25%. The Monetary Policy Committee has recommended. So the new governor has also mentioned that in the future more reduction will happen. Apart from this, at the micro level, I think the higher allocation for PLI, that is the product linked incentive, which has become a big success because of smartphones. The government has realized that it's a very good tool to stimulate the industry. So they have extended it to a lot more sectors. And the focus is on footwear. So in India, footwear has become one of the major export earners now, especially non-leather footwear. So they have given a lot of incentives for those areas. More incentives for electric vehicles, more incentive for solar energy. And I think higher allocation for the budget allocation for the rural economy has happened because of the flagship schemes what the government is implementing in the rural areas. More allocation has happened to those areas. So agriculture and corollary is agriculture is doing well, automatically manufacturing will do well because ultimately manufacturing is supporting only the agricultural sector. So I think in all the budget has made a big difference in the current year. Apart from the new income tax act that has been introduced, it's going to make the return filing and the following the rules of the government much simpler. So there is a lot of, but it is all taken from the American thing where I find in US there is a law which says all acts should be in a A4 sheet. Be filled up. All the returns that you need to do must be one page.
They will call it as
even your I-194 is only one page and they give the time. You have to fill it in within 15 minutes. If you're not able to do, you can always reach somebody and the name is there. So that sort of attitude has happened in the government. So all in all, the budget has been a welcome change from just giving some popular issues being resolved and leaving other things, the major issues. So major issues are being tackled.
Exactly, as rightly said, no, this reduction of the 0.25 percentage in interest rate will definitely help people in the industry where for the growing and more, investments can be called for the industry. Sir, Jeyaraman sir, what do you think and how this budget is exactly will support more like, people like you who are there into the, more of export business.
Export, of course, only budget I can't say
Yeah.
straight away link up to the budget. The dollar, the currency variation has really helped. Maybe it's not good for India, being that the currency is having so much of fluctuation. In 2021, it is only about 172. 22, 23, it's 77, 78 or 82 in the last year. Now it's 86, 85 is an average. But as an export people doing, it gives some type of cushion for them to manufacture. Because all the MNCs or whomsoever it may be the customer, they never pay any increase in price other than the raw material concern. That's okay. But as you said that the interest rate which has come down, still they are saying it will come
Furthermore, yes.
That will really help the industry to do a good business on that.
So that's right.
That's what
As rightly said, the economics up and downs will there always be plus and minus with that.
But the MSME from 100 crore to 125 or 150 crores, they have made it.
500.
No, that's a turnover wise.
Yes.
Turnover wise, she has just
assets.
500. And that investment wise on that from 100 to 125 crores. With that, MSMEs will get a lot of
Exactly.
They will have a good from the support from the any loan which you go with that AIC, any loan which goes and that some preference for the MSME. I am not MSME, of course. Right now, and still, but MSME, that's all projections by the government towards that MSME only. Last 5-6 years, they are talking very high about that MSME.
Great.
And that's having a good boost on that.
Great. That's a one good point that
That's one of the
classification of MSPs has given a good boost to the people.
To the people. That's
so let me ask Mr. Ravi, what is your thoughts?
Yeah, still both Mr. Balachandaran and Jeyaraman already touched upon all the things. One thing what I like to add upon is the overall that though the IT income tax the way limit extended up to 12 lakhs is really a thing which we are a lot of salary class people who are looking for it for quite a long time, last 2-3 budgets, and this time it has happened. And this overall is going, I think, will be able to improve the spending, because the amount of tax what they're going to pay in the middle class sector is going to be reduced, and so it will be definitely going to trigger some economy where the people have the more.
So the buying power
is going to improve. That's something I like to add upon.
Great, sir. Yes, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, I think one of the major things about this budget is the amount that is being allocated for infrastructure.
Exactly.
And that is something that the industry helps the industry. I think highways and road, there is a big allotment, and for railways also, they have increased the allocation. So these are things which will trigger activity in the industry level for MSME and all the industry. I think around 11.1 crore of allocation has been done for infrastructure. And for roads and highways, I think around 2.7 lakh crore. And for railways, it is 2.6 lakh crore, which is a huge increase from the previous. So that is something that will trigger a lot of industrial activity.
Yes, exactly. It's good to know that the budget has been, good for individual as well as for the growth of the industry. So when we talk about the budget, I just wanted to now touch upon, how do you think the manufacturing sector is transforming, especially in the rise of automation industry and industry 4.0 and new technologies are coming up like AI and all. So what is your thoughts on this, Mr. Ravi?
That is on the IT, and I think, see, though government is now talking about industry 4.0, but yes, there is a different level. It started with industry 2.0, then 2.3 and 2.4. But when you see at people who are at a different level, like though the government is moving towards it, there are quite a lot of people are still at industry 2.0 or even a little behind that. Some are moving towards the 3, and now very few are catching up. Probably that's the one thing, though, government should also take some efforts to push people, major number of people to migrate from the older convention method to the IoT based systems, which maybe the overall technologies and even the exhibitions like Acmee also makes people get that awareness.
Exactly.
Because say when they see it, the seeing is believing, and always normally the people with the mindset is like, no, they try to follow somebody. So instead of taking the lead, only few people are the path setters or the trend setters, and most of the people are the followers. They look for someone who start the technology. And when they see these exhibitions kind of things where they see those kind of IoTs and things, that would be a kind of a trigger.
I think Acme should help in this,
Definitely.
where people come and see the new technologies and they should adopt on this. So, what are your thoughts on this, Mr. Thomas? Are we really ready to have this full advantage of new technologies?
Technology will keep on evolving. I think the speed in which technology is coming right now is very, very soon.
Exactly.
By the time you start implementing one, the next one is already there.
It's a breakneck speed.
Yeah, because that was not there long time back.
Yes.
So now because of AI and other things, many people are afraid to use the latest technology also, because like what is coming in AI. But we have to understand that these are all tools only. It all can help you when you use that tool and how efficiently you can use it. It is not going to compete with any human the power that we have in reasoning and to implement what we want. But it has lot of advantage in giving lot of information so fast and to analyze it as good as an expert sitting next to you. So in that way, AI is coming up very fast. Technology, I think so much else is catching up, and I think this Acme is going to be a great platform where we can really feel and look at it.
True. Sir, I just wanted to ask you, Mr. Jeyaraman. So, this new technologies in your factory, how it is? So, being you are having a factories in multiple locations, how these new technologies are helping you?
See, quite a lot of change. Reason. First, you have the manpower availability is very poor right now. Not getting the right people, not getting the quality people. And for all these things, you have to go with some different type of technology. Right? Like 2000, 2010, 2015, even 2020. Now, you have to go a shift in platform. Are you going with robotic? Are you to go with a different process? Even though we are all making to the print, customer is giving a drawing, to that we are making to the print.
Exactly.
For that also, we have to go little process change,
Okay.
which has to be adopted
Okay.
in concurrence with customer. That's
Correct.
much more important.
Correct.
Just like that, we can't change. None of the customers will
Correct.
accept the change in your process or even in technology.
Right.
That is required. And then to compete on the cost perspective on that, a new technology which had to go. Now we are going with already we have implemented with robots.
Excellent. So,
And we are planning for about 100 robots for this year of 2025, 25, 26. Already we have implemented with the 14 part. The implementation is not that much easy.
Yeah.
It's quite its own difficulty in making the confidence prove up. For that, the implementation, during the implementation, whether the customer will have patience to wait for that on this, the production change and all on this. But change is must.
right. I hope.
Then what we can survive in the future. So sustainability comes into picture in another about 2 to 3 years. Now we are going to sustain in business, in the cost, in the delivery, in the all that parameter. So
I hope
change-
Acme 2025 people, the exhibitors will give some sort of solution on
Right.
this topic,
Right.
particularly. Your views on this new
Probably my
technology.
friend Redima, who is working in that, and this will be very happy in doing that, and this all the robotics, and they give a good picture about
Good.
solution on that.
Mr. Balachandaran, your views, please.
As Thomas said, information is the new oil. That's what they say. So a lot of information can be gathered by using new technology. But how much of this information can be processed usefully by an MSME? So this is what, in fact, we had a discussion earlier with the Tamil Nadu government when we had a meeting. So what we suggest now is, even through Acmee, is that most of the people who are coming out with AI or smart manufacturing or automation, they seem to look at only the big companies. I mean, Mr. Jeyaraman is an exception. He can put 100 robots and he can do that. But there are a lot of small companies which need automation because it's a jobless growth now. You can't add more people and increase turnover. You have to increase the turnover with the same staff. That's how you can survey because it is also dictated by the availability of people. People are not available. So we felt that even in Acmee, they should have a scheme where we should try and promote. All these technologies must be brought there by the people who are available with these technologies and be allowed to present them there, and then we should try and see if we can make a very low cost design which can be adopted by all MSMEs, so that MSMEs will be having a quick fix. They can get that automation or the IoT and then they can implement with least cost. Otherwise, whatever happens, whenever we call some people, we find the cost is prohibitive. And as Mr. Jeyaraman said, whether the result will be really good enough to, and whether the people have the patience to do that. So I think that's a very critical.
So, knowing all this now, my next question is in that part. So, small companies like MSMEs in India or particularly in our region and all, how Acme can help in collaborating with such big companies for our small industries and all can collaborate so that these technologies can be transferred to our MSMEs also.
My suggestion is companies like Haas or even AS Macromatic, they should just have a division where they can create low cost automation. Instead of thinking only bigger machines for bigger companies for aerospace or big operation, they should think of small automation projects because they have the capability to design and they have the wherewithal to implement the project. So they can come out with a product which can be used by small scale industry, but it is more of an automated design. Whatever be the type of product they make, whether it's a simple drilling machine. When we saw in Taiwan, we found that there's a simple machine which is automated for drilling, tapping, countersinging. Everything is coming in a single operation. It indexes and all. You can increase the speed of the RPM can be increased by a turn of a knob. No need to change pulleys. And it's got the capability to change the tools. There are 6 tools. So it's a very simple thing which I saw, which I even suggested to many people here. So those sort of things, I think big companies like AS or somebody should take it up and introduce as a product so that small units can also automate in a big way.
So, Mr. Thomas, on your views on this, how this small companies in MSMEs can collaborate with big companies in Acme and what way Acme can help in that?
Technology wise, as everybody was saying, I think implementation is the hugest difficulty for the small scale. Whenever a person wants to enter into a MSME, they were looking for the higher scale of economy. So if bigger companies can come for, I think SAP has come. Earlier, SAP used to be used by all big, only huge corporations. They have come with a product for SMEs. So something like that, all bigger companies should be thinking because the scale, the numbers of SME is too huge.
Exactly.
And that value, if they can see, I think they will be able to bring good products for SMEs. It will help.
I think even nowadays SME is also not shying away in putting a investment in these kind of technologies for their own growth, right?
It's more than
In fact,
I think that they're being forced to know.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Ravi.
Yeah, in fact, see, most of these exhibitions, what I see is, coming particularly to the SMEs, if you go back and talk to many of these SMEs, see, when they see many a times, they see those machines. The first time seeing is believing, those see certain machines, then that gets into the mind. And that takes some time, depends on the capacity and other situations. Somebody, if I walk into an exhibition, not that the next day is going to buy a machine. There are people who buy on the exhibition across the counter, they may book up machines, who are the big corporates and big companies. But this goes and registers into their mind and they walk on a couple of times into the exhibition. Over a period, most of the SMEs buy 1 CNC machine or 2 CNC machines, then they gradually grow. True. Even today's scenario, you see that maybe about 5-10 years back, we never heard about that startup companies. Now you can see quite that's a new technology jargon comes up now. Many students, even I'd say maybe when as kids, they come through the exhibition along with their parents and they get into the entrepreneur spirit and they see those things and they want to do something on their own and they start a company. So these kind of things will really trigger and economic growth and this is definitely helpful. And like what you said about infrastructure development, Now, the huge infrastructure developments happening throughout. You walk through any part of the country, there is some bridges constructed, railways is constructed, subways are constructed, metros are constructed, and we don't have the kind of manpowers. Rightly told by Mr. Jeyaraman sir that there's no such manpower to manage so much work. So that's what we are doing is right now a breakneck speed. What has happened in 30, 40 years, now we are trying to do it in 3, 4 years or 5 years. So much manpower is needed. So we don't have manpower. Only the technology, automations are the only source for which people has to get into the buying of machines, capital machines, which is very much helpful through these exhibitions.
So when you rightly say the traditional manufacturing process now is slowly changing into the automation and new technological way of doing it.
Change.
This new transformation, how Acme could help you guys?
That's
So-
what I want to ask you there. Acme should be able to find out from the various firms how we can able to bring them with the new technology which is coming over and that to more rather than to the conventional machine without having all these things and everything participating just for selling. So our focus should be Acme focus should be the more bringing the people of the new technology.
Exactly. If you see the list of participants in the Acme 2025, the more of the
give some sort of reduction in the cost, but just not like that. And this really we have to identify and with that make it so that more attraction can bring
exactly.
all that
So the
knowledge.
Acme is also working on the same perspective that we should bridge the gap between this transformation of traditional to the new age of manufacturing. And I hope see
Now almost all the manufacturing people, whether small scale or a medium or whatever, they won't have a change. They are all able to visualize for the surviving. We should have some change like that. How to go the change? What is going to be there on this? For that, this type of things will be a good platform to
I
understand.
have one big question to Mr. Balachandran. See, when we talk about all this transformation of automation, new age machining, everything, don't we think still we need to skill up more people also? And what kind of initiatives the government or the associations like us should take up so that we also get the skilled manpower too?
I think this is again bringing the fact that industry academia partnership. The government is saying you have to skill a lot of people, but it is not happening through the intervention of industry. It is happening through more of the ITIs getting upgraded and things like that with new machines. But what is required is see all those machines cannot get the material to do a trial also. So they just show it to them and they come back. So our suggestion was even in our IMA that all these students, whether they are engineering or technical ITIs or DMEs, they should spend 1 year of their course, 4 years, 3 years in an industry as an apprentice, and that too only in MSMEs. So that MSME they'll get hands-on experience in production, and they will get the skill in the on the job itself, and then they can go back to the college or school wherever they were studying and tell the people there that this is what each of them will come and share in the classes, whatever is the new technology they saw in the industry. So that they will be able to change the syllabus itself to see that the new generation of technical students are equipped with the products. So this suggestion has partially happened, but what actually the government has done is they have given this scheme to the bigger companies. They have said that
as always happens.
it always happens. So maybe a little trickle down, and later on, I think it will be a second to MSMEs.
I just wanted to ask you, Thomas. See, today we have a perspective that every college person who comes out of the college student wanted to go for a white collar job. So there are a lot of blue collar jobs also available where they can grow a lot. Being all are the employees turned out to be entrepreneurs now. We came up from the blue collar scale. So what is that advice you could give to the students who are all studying at present?
I think the major thing is now they are exposed to so many things in the media, which is so attractive for them. And they are thinking that money can be instantly.
In a short span of time.
Yeah, I think that mentality will not last long. We have seen so many people who come for interviews also. Just because of some fascination, they moved from their core subject into something else. But another 5 years, then they are coming back and they are ready to work at lesser salary. Instead of that, if they could have started in a proper way, they could have reached at a salary that they could have desired. But instead of, I think this media exposure, YouTube and everything is good. But learning everything from that, I think, is
So I
Getting
think
into hands-on,
we should give more exposure to the students that industry is also one of the big area
Yeah,
where you can grow.
and industry also should come out where we can also teach them, where they have a platform where they can learn and enjoy it.
I think we can go up with another one last question to everyone. Like, how Acme 2025, what is the people's, whatever the walk-in customers or visitors coming in, what they can expect and what they should get in from the Acme
I
2025?
feel it's an opportunity for the small buyer or the small manufacturer to meet the topmost people of all the big companies, because if they go to one of those big companies, they might meet somebody at a much lower level. So he can put across his ideas or his questions to the top boss of the company, because most of these stalls will be having 1 or 2 days where the top bosses of those companies come, even the multinational companies. So it's an opportunity to directly meet those
Very
people,
rightly said, yes.
and he can express his views or his ideas, and he will get a direct answer. So that is a very big opportunity which Acme can present to all the visitors, because all the companies will be represented by mostly by the top boss or the next second in command. So you have a direct access to tell them what you feel and what you expect from them. So it's a good opportunity.
Excellent, rightly said. Yes, Mr.
Actually, I think this is Acme, this 2025 should really give a good picture for that participant as well as for the other people with more with the new technology, because every time we have a change on that. I am telling about my time of 2008 to now this about 2025. How many years now? 2008,
17 years.
25, almost
17 years. 17 years.
Yes, that should have a good technology that the participant, which I've seen in that one and here and all. And
So definitely that will help the visitors
will help the
to
visitors
improve on their
improve
manufacturing
their
industries. Yes.
manufacturing and their working culture.
Exactly.
That's what I really feel on that. And thanks to the team who are working extremely well and making more of that.
True. Yes, Mr. Ravi.
Yeah, to add upon to what Mr. Jeyaraman told, I still remember the Acme started in 1994 in a very small, less than 1,000 square meters at Kamaraja Arangam, then Kamaraja Arangam, from where the transformation is like a egg people larva to a beautiful butterfly. That's the kind of a transformation Acme has taken in the last 16 editions. And it's only because of that kind of an evolution. Even I would say many of our entrepreneurs here in Tambutri State, or even many of in and or in Chennai, they would all grown because of this actually, because they've seen a lot of those
Very true.
first time in their life in that kind of an exhibition, which happens in Chennai. That given them quite a good opportunity. And when they, I like to add a few more things. That's like, I have seen when I looked, since I have seen Acme from all the 16 editions. So I could see there are certain companies who started with very small accessory suppliers for some imported companies like Taiwan and other kind of company. They started in such a smaller level. Over a period, I seen them. They are becoming a dealers for that machineries, machine tool industries. Then recently, I saw that they are also becoming manufacturing those machines in India, and they became a machine manufacturers. They started with accessory manufacturing to machine tool seller.
So all along,
machine
Acme
tool
has given them
manufacturer.
a hand holding to things such a level.
All along, we are importing machines now. Those people developed a capability to make it within India, and I don't know, I don't see that's much long time where they could even able to export those machine tools to overseas.
Very true.
So that's the kind of a potential it is being generated.
Very true.
So this is a very valid thing. And one more point, last point to add to the students, like what you are asking about the younger generations. So there's even a profound saying I always say, even I heard long time, where they say, no, if you youngsters, they should not run behind the money. That's what I see many times. They just hop from one place. It's like a Rolling Stones. They switch a job from one place for the mere $500,000 hike. Rather, if you start focusing on a skill of any particular line, then the money comes behind them. That one thing they lose. If they start running behind the money, life through they have to run behind the money. Rather, try to develop a skill, then money will come behind you. That's all.
Yes, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, I think as Acme, an exhibition or any trade fair for that matter, I think the major thing is everybody in one platform. You have the manufacturer, the buyer, the innovators, the technology people, government policy makers, all coming on one platform is something that has made this a great success, and I'm sure that it will continue. One thing I want to add upon the MSME is Make in India, as we were talking, increasing the level for MSME to higher, and bringing a policy where less than 200 crores in government purchase should be only in India. You cannot export those kind of missions.
Yes.
And that is helping a lot of companies who are doing smaller projects to go up for bigger projects.
Yeah, very valid point.
And that has also helped as a government policy in MSME. So I think that is also a valuable addition that can help smaller industries.
Adding to this, one more thing also, the BSA certification for many of those smaller parts, which now that we can see that there's a booming of toy industry in India. Because in the past, people used to import quite a lot of toys, everything for as a trading, they dump it in India. So because of the industry is also not going, but now putting the BSA restrictions on toys and many hardwares and other items, then it became a necessity for the Indian people to develop it, make it in India. Make in India is becoming stronger, and that is also boosting the economy in India.
So you mean to say that BS is good for implementation of India, for the business grow in India? Because importing parts is very difficult.
So I think we had a very good discussion on today's panel. Thank you very much for the panelists sharing with us all your valuable insights. Today's discussion has shown us both the challenges and the opportunities, and how this Indian manufacturing sector can grow, and how Acmee can bridge the gap in the sector. To everyone watching, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check out Acmee's YouTube channel, Acmee TV. So we will continue to post many such events in the future. Let us continue to work together to make India as a global leader in manufacturing. Thank you and have a great day.